The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 2. Hello everyone, I'm Joe Squared and welcome back. We are back with another episode. I've been pretty excited for this to come out and here we are. And it's certainly delivered today. We continue straight on. Obviously, Boba and Fennec are trying to delve into, what's going on, why they are attacked. And they obviously have one of the guards from the last episode, so they, give him a little... bit of pressure. They threaten him with a rancor, which we already know is dead from Revenge of the Sith, but he doesn't know that, so that obviously gets him talking. Now, they are initially led to believe it's to do with the mayor. He claims it wasn't him. It still could be him. There's still questions there, but it does seem that it's actually to do with the Hutts, which was sort of something I guessed last week, but I thought, nah, it wouldn't be them. But it is them, so it seems, and it's the twins, so relatives of the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt, and the twins. They pull up on this massive plinth being carried by these poor people that must weigh a ridiculous amount. It's like carrying a couple of elephants, I imagine, on a big old piece of wood. But they're sort of making threats, saying it's our territory that Boba has taken over, it's their throne. But Boba is sort of saying that the way it works is whoever kills whoever was on it previously, it's now his throne. So obviously we're going to see where that leads. Now, on top of the Hutts, they have a Wookiee employed. Now, I looked into it based on Joe's knowledge of this. Even though I'm big on Star Wars, he seemed to know who the Wookiee was. He said it was someone called Black I'm having to look Kursantan. I'm not sure how you say it. Black Kursantan. He's from the comics. And he has fought Obi-Wan and Vader in the past in the comics, so he can definitely handle his own ground, and he looks very tough. He's got like sort of black and grey fur. He looks menacing. He looks deadly. I really hope we get to see a fight against him one day. But yeah, he looks really cool, and he's like a bounty hunter that used to work for Jabba, and now he is working for these twins. Now, this is left open. It's only like a short 10 sort of to 15-minute segment we get exploring the stuff that's set in the present, the current sort of time that this is set. But we actually spend the rest of the episode, which is about 3/4, 2/3 of it, in flashback sequence. And what this does is it delves further into the relationship between Boba and the Tusken Raiders, and sort of how Boba, is continuing his journey up to when we discovered him in The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, he's very grateful to them. They've saved him, and they're sort of beginning to warm to him. They're actually giving him water. They're showing him how to train and whatnot, and they get attacked by this massive train, like the hover train, huge train, that seems to go through their terrain, and it kills Tusken Raiders and stuff. And Boba says, listen, I'm grateful, I'm going to help you deal with the train. They're a bit like, don't know, are you sure? It's hard work, you can't stop the train. He's like, no, I'm going to help you. I'll tell you what I like, though. It's nice to actually finally see like a human side to these Tusken Raiders. We've always just seen them as these sort of mindless animals, and they're all bad, they're all just horrible creatures, they're all just crazy, and they go all that sort of thing. But this is shown that they're more than savages. This is shown that they are actually people, and they're just trying to survive on Tatooine. And what you get with this whole train attack is a bit of a great train robbery type vibe. It's like, okay, Boba steals some speeders. He's like, listen, I'm going to show you how to use the speeders. I'm going to tell you how we're going to attack this train. And they do. And it's such a cool sequence. Really cool action sequence. So, like, high budget. That's what I love about these Star Wars shows. They are just as high budget as movies, clearly. And you sort of think it's not going to hit the heights, especially when they first announced a Star Wars TV show. But, they've shown in the Marvel ones and this that, they're putting money into it. And they're making sure it is, film quality. Now, obviously, they stop the train. There are casualties, but they do stop the train, and the Raiders are very grateful to Boba. They embrace him. They give him the nod, to show that they're thankful for him. And on top of that, they send him on like a spiritual journey, which was interesting. Like a lizard goes up his nose, and it sort of makes him have visions. He goes on a spiritual journey, and it's cool. He gets like flashbacks of being in the Sarlacc pit. He gets flashbacks of him as a child on Coruscant, which was really cool, and really cool visions, sort of to understand his head and what it is, the things that haunt him. Another one, of course, where he's holding Jango Fett's helmet in the arena after Mace Windu has decapitated him. It's cool stuff like that that's really adding to his character here. And after the spiritual journey, he comes back with like a branch, and they show him how to make it into a staff, the staff that he's using in The Mandalorian Season 2. And then they finally clothe him. They give him the cool black robes that we see him wearing when he's initially introduced. And you're seeing this relationship develop. Obviously, it's not quite at the end because he's got to meet up with Fennec, so we're going to get more flashback stuff, I guess, about how they meet. But this was a really, really great, use of the flashbacks, and I really like how they're telling this story. And even though the balance, it can feel off because you kind of had like a quarter of it in the present, and then the other half doing the flashbacks, whereas last week was kind of a 50-50 split. But I liked they did that, because even in that short sort of 10 to 15 minute segment that was set in the present, it was still really good. It was really well shot, really well acted. It built the intrigue, and it's setting up stuff really cool for when that story is going to continue over the remainder of the season. Honestly, this episode was brilliant. It really pushed on from last week. It was definitely better, and that's not because last week's was poor in any way. It was just, this was really, really good. It was really well shot. Great soundtrack. Obviously, the same guy that did the Mandalorian soundtrack. I think it's Ludwig Göransson. I'm not sure. But yeah, really every part of this was perfect. And I loved it. Loved it. And I'm really excited for episode 3 now. It seems like this is going to be a really great show, and it's not going to, obviously Mandalorian set the bar very high. This doesn't seem like it's going to set it any lower. It's definitely pushing to hit those same heights again. And that's, of course, as I said last week, it's down to Jon Favreau's writing and him and Dave Filoni being the executive producers on this. They know Star Wars, they know what we want, and they know how to execute it perfectly. Episode 2 for me gets a 9 out of 10, easily. Really, really good, and it can, only push on from this and hopefully build better. It doesn't seem like we're getting much filler here because it's a sort of a limited series. It's 6 episodes. It seems like they're really trying to tell a lot here, and I'm really excited to see that. So yes, until next week, until episode 3, thank you all very much for watching. If you've seen it, do let me know what you think about it. If you've got any theories, predictions, obviously this could go anyway. I do wonder how they'll end up, what sort of conclusion they're trying to lead to here, or is it just more of a character focus based thing? But we'll see. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.